This is Quiet Conversations with Jada Raquel. Shh. Hey everyone, welcome back. My name is Jada Raquel, the host of the Quiet Conversations podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in and listening and being consistent with me and here with me every episode. This is the final episode of season 2. Thank you so much for being here. Shout out to y'all. Okay, shout out to y'all for being here with me. And shout out to me for being consistent and staying consistent. Thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate it. And today we're discussing vision boarding. That's what we're talking about today. We're talking about vision boarding, how to create the life that we want for the future. We're talking about goal setting. And obviously it's the end of the year, so why not talk about this? You know what I'm saying? Why not get into it? So we're talking about goal setting, financial planning, vision boarding, and all of the things, and preparing yourself for your future. So if that's something that you're interested in, sit back, relax, and enjoy this episode. If you're watching, get some popcorn, get your notebook, take notes, and let's get into it. A quick story time today would be about when my best friend introduced me to vision boarding. The first time I did a vision board, I think we did it together. We started it together and then I finished it solo. I think it was 2018. And when she first introduced me to it and she told me about it, she was basically telling me why to do it, the benefits of it. And I don't know, for some reason, I just couldn't really connect. And I think a lot of people probably have that problem when they first start off doing vision boarding, because it's just like, okay, I'm cutting out pictures, but like, okay, like some of these pictures from these magazines don't really correlate and connect with me. Like, how am I supposed to really like create goals based off of pictures? So I think when it was 2020, I kind of said, you know what, instead of just sourcing through magazines, let me be a little bit more intentional about the way that I vision board. So I got a bulletin board from Michael's, and I was able to then think about the goals that I actually want to accomplish for the upcoming years and write them down and find pictures that actually align with those goals. And then I was able to put my vision board together. So we're going to talk more in depth about that in the episode. And I just want to let people know that when you first do a vision board, it is going to be kind of like weird. It's weird because it's like, okay, and think about it, like we're not as creative as how we used to be when we were kids. So it was a little uncomfortable for me because I'm like, I'm not finding pictures that align with myself. Is this what people always rave about? So I want everyone to know that if this is your first time doing a vision board, don't really be too hard on yourself. Don't be too hard on yourself at all, because it was uncomfortable for me in the beginning and it was a little weird for me in the beginning. But now I do it every 6 months and it's something that I honestly look forward to. So let's get into part 1 and let's do a deep dive into how I started vision boarding, how I goal set, etc., etc. So let's get into it. I'm not sure if I mentioned it in the story time, but I do goal set every 6 months. Every 6 months, I think about the goals that I want to accomplish. I think about the goals that I have accomplished and I write them down in my journal. And I try to make them happen, obviously, because they're goals that I've set. But every 6 months, so December, January-ish, I think about the goals that I want to accomplish for the upcoming year. So I sit down, I really think about it, and I write them down. I don't care if it's 5 goals. I don't care if it's 15 goals, 20 goals, 30 goals. I write every single goal down and I think about them in depth. Is this really something that I want to accomplish? Is this something that I just seen on Instagram and I'm making it up? Is this something that I really see myself doing and accomplishing in the future? Is this something that I actually want to like pursue? These are things that you should think about when you're goal setting. I am a journaler. I don't know if I mentioned this in the podcast before, but I journal almost every single day. I try to. That is one of the things that I journal about throughout the year, like leading up to the time where it's time for me to goal set and do a vision board, I'm journaling throughout the year and I'm writing down little goals here and there. And then at the end, when it's time to write out my goals and find pictures for my vision board, I make sure I have it on one page so that I can see everything in its eternity. So after I write out my goals, I then find the pictures that align with them, and then I find them on Pinterest and I try to align all my pictures through Pinterest to the goals that I am setting for myself. When I am vision boarding, before I do so, I do then journal about my vision board and I do journal about my future goals. So these are the 7 questions I ask myself every year, once a year, right before I'm about to add my pictures to my vision board. So I ask myself these 7 questions. What did I learn this year about myself? What is God trying to tell me that I've been ignoring? What are 3 non-negotiables for this upcoming year? In what ways will I offer myself grace this upcoming year? What will it look like when I'm offering myself grace? And what does your body need from you this upcoming year? What is your word or phrase for the year? And mine is act like it. And the last question is fill in the blank. If I honor what I know will be true in my heart in the next 6 months, I will ... So those are the 7 questions I ask myself once a year, right before I start vision boarding. And after I journal and answer those 7 questions, I then go into the fun part, which is finding pictures, looking and sourcing, and just trying to find pictures that align with myself and align with the goals that I have set for myself, and pictures that kind of look like me. Well, not pictures that look like me, but of Black women, dark-skinned Black women specifically. Yeah, that's how I vision board. That's my process. That's how I goal set. I hope that it helps you in the future. I hope it makes it less uncomfortable. Make it fun. Don't put too much pressure on it. It is your goals, but it's also something fun, a creative activity that you can do solo or with a group of friends. So let's get into part 2, financially planning. So on top of creating goals for yourself, one of your goals that you should be thinking about is financial goals. So when I say that, I'm saying, like, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Are you retiring early? Are you retiring late? What does how much money do you have in your 401k? Did you even set up your 401k? What company is your 401k in? Does your company offer 401ks? Do you have a Roth IRA? Do you want to get a Roth IRA? How much money do you want to invest in your Roth IRA? So many questions that, the younger generation, we just don't know. We have TikTok now, so TikTok is a really great source. TikTok does give good advice on financial steps that younger generation should take, as myself, but just make sure you do your advice with all of the information that you're coming in contact with. When it comes to financial planning, like, it is something serious, but don't take it too seriously. Like, don't regret any of the past choices and spending of money that you spent in the past. It's already gone. Think about where you are right now financially and just plan for your future. That is something that I do recommend and believe in a lot, just because it's like, by the time you know it, you're 45 and you don't have no retirement plan. So it's like, these are things that you should think about. Also think about certain credit cards that you should get. And are you someone that can handle a credit card? Are you responsible enough to have a credit card? These are certain conversations that not a lot of people are talking about. And that's something that should be a part of your new year and goal setting and your plans for the new year as it is arriving. By the time the new year comes, you then don't want to start and think, and just plan it now in December. Get all of your ducks in a row before the new year begins. Certain questions that you should ask yourself is, where do you see yourself in the future? And, like, how much money do you want to have at a certain point in time in your life? And how do you plan on getting there? I do think about this a lot, just because I just want to be set. I don't want to be someone that is struggling to figure it out. Yes, life happens, but it's best that we prepare for emergencies instead of like scrapping and putting our nickels together when emergencies do arrive. One of the books I do recommend to help with your financials planning is Get Good with Money by Tiffany Aliche. I read this book, I believe 2-3 years ago. And this book taught me a lot about financial planning, separating your bank accounts, having one bank account to where your main source of money is going, and then have another bank account to pay your bills, and then another bank account to spend, to like your fun money to spend and have a good time with. She taught me the importance of why separating your money is important. All your money isn't in one place and you're just spending. No. Have your money go to one bank account and then divide your money up by bills and by spending. So then when you have your money for your bills, you put your money you keep your money there, you put how much money you need for the month for your bills, and then you put how much money you want to spend for the month, and then make sure your savings account isn't attached to your checking account. Make sure you have a savings account that is a high yield savings account, which can develop interest with the money that you put into it, and also is not attached to your checking account. She also explained how having a high yield savings account that does not have a brick and mortar, which means that there is no physical bank, like you can't go inside of a bank. Most of the time you can equivalent more interest, so you'll get more bang for your buck. So Get Good with Money with Tiffany Aliche is such a great book. I highly recommend. It is an easy read. I have highlighted. I have like doggy ears here. Like, it's a really good book. She also talks about the importance of a trust and the difference between a will and a trust. My line sister is a lawyer, so a lot of the things that she spoke about in the book, I like cross-reference with her to make sure that it's good information. And she said yes, but there's more to it than all the things that she's saying. So just make sure that you do your research, plan for your future, plan for certain things in ahead. If you have a vacation, if you want a vacation next April, make sure that you're planning for it now in December. You have 4 months to prepare, 4 months to save, etc., etc. So let's get into part 3. So part 3, we're talking about giving back. So in the light of planning our future and preparing for ahead for the upcoming year, I do want to talk about the importance of giving back to the less fortunate. Yes, we do have, some of us are a little bit more well off than others, so we are able to financially plan and save and do all the things, and we are all super grateful for that. But let's not forget about the less fortunate in the time of need. The government just went back after being shut down for, I believe, 45 days or something like that. So a lot of people are still struggling to get back on their feet. I do encourage anyone and everyone to help out those in need at the local food banks this year. A lot of people need help, and why not give back? You know, it's something that we all should do during the holiday season, because not as much people are as fortunate as the next person. While you're pouring into yourself this Christmas and spending money on gifts, etc., etc., make sure that the same way that you're pouring into yourself, you are also able to pour into the next person. I wanted to introduce the fact that the Quiet Conversations host, Jada Raquel, is doing a sock drive to help those in need. I don't know if you know this, but a few years ago, I found out that socks are the least donated item out of all things that are donated, just because socks have to be brand new due to, foot fungus and things like that. So in order to not spread disease, a lot of shelters only take brand new socks, as they should. So I'm doing a sock drive this year. The link for the sock drive will be in the descriptions, both on YouTube and on audio platforms. And I will be really grateful if you guys donate to the drive. The drive is going on until December 28th, so that we are able to give new socks to people for the new year. So if you are able to donate, please do. I'm so incredibly grateful for those who have already started donating. And if you can't actually buy socks because they're too expensive, socks range between $10 to $15 on the registry. There is a cash donations. You can Zelle my email, Jada, that's Jada 3 times, 473@gmail.com, and I can take any amount of cash that you would like to give, even if it's $1. I don't know if you could give 50 cents on Zelle, but even if it's 50 cents on Zelle, I will take it. And then that money that I accumulate, I will purchase through the stock registry on December 20th in order to end the sock drive by December 28th and give to those in need before the new year, so December 31st. I do plan on sourcing different shelters between New York and New Jersey so that different people are able to get as much socks as possible. So please donate. Please use the links in the descriptions and in the bios and donate as much as you can. Thank you so much, guys, for watching. Thank you so much, guys, for listening and tuning in and donating. I am so grateful. My name is Jada Raquel. Thank you for ending and coming to an end with me on season 2 of the Quiet Conversations podcast. I hope that you are able to donate as much as you can. Please like, comment, subscribe, share, and repost. If you don't, watch on YouTube. If you don't, same name, Quiet Conversations podcast. I'm your host, Jada Raquel. See you next season. Bye.